Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, Spence, let's trip out.
I'm afraid not every human is as smurfy as they should be, Sapsy.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Yeah, certainly. Here we are.
This pizza pie won't pass. Too many calories. Oh, the rest is okay. Natural life! Get it off me! Get it off me!
I don't know the meaning of the word chip.
Documented Geek Day.
Squeeze It fruit drink. So much fun, kids can't wait to get their hands on it. You don't just drink a Squeeze It, you squeeze a Squeeze It. Squeeze it in fruity flavors like Chucklin Cherry and Mean Green Puncher. Go ahead. Squeeze the fun out of it. Something really cool is happening. Frozen Squeeze It makers in your favorite Squeeze It characters. Squeeze It Freeze It. One in marked 6-packs.
Fancy a game?
Nightmare, the game hosted by a video.
I am the gatekeeper!
To win, you must stop it.
Roll the dice!
The video board game Nightmare. The gatekeeper talks to you,
Whose turn is it next?
and you must answer him.
Answer me!
Yes, my gatekeeper.
Go for it!
Nightmare, a race against time for 3 to 6 very game players.
Let's party!
All right. We are back in the den. And we've got Looney Dingo,
Hey,
special guest here this evening. How
Thanks for
goes
having
it, my friend?
goes great. Thanks for having me, man. This is awesome.
Of course, man. Appreciate you coming on and joining us. You've recently taken Craig under your wing here, from what we
Yes.
understand.
Yes, sir. Yeah, up to
And-
this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just going to say, go ahead and kind of tell us how that came to be, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely. Right? Yeah, really. A lot of things from this production came to be because of Johnny Necro.
Yeah.
Okay. He's been absolutely pivotal from the beginning.
For those who don't know, Johnny Necro was a previous guest of ours. You can go back
Yes.
in our archives on YouTube.
Yeah, at this point, he could be a co-host with that many times he's been on.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm wearing one of his shirts right now.
Yeah.
I have his mug right over there on my dresser.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. If we're doing that for the guy.
Right? Nice.
Yeah.
There's Jason's mug. You know, we all got a mug at one point.
Heck yeah, I got my mug right over there.
I use it as my at bat box for my markers.
Nice.
Like I'm an illustrator, so when I'm working, like the stuff that, like the markers that I'm using for whatever I'm working on, generally they go into that mug, so I know I don't have to like dig through the massive.
Yeah, take out the ones you're gonna use.
I've got that,
Right.
like one other mug.
Word.
I have a cutting board.
Oh wow,
That's a Johnny Necro cutting board.
that's too cool, man.
It's a clever cutting board. Like if you're gonna make a cutting board, that's the character to do it with.
That's
Right?
the back of
Yeah,
it.
he showed me he was making those, and I was impressed. I like how he thinks outside the
Yep.
box too.
It's not. It's a good quality cutting board. Yeah.
By the way, back to
I'm never going to use it, but
All right, that's enough about him.
Enough about what is it? Johnny Logan Harley is his real full name. If y'all want to look him up on Facebook.
God, yeah, he's gonna come up again.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. Yeah. So what's
right.
interesting though is the person who set me up with him was James Carnes, who you just had on.
Yeah.
And James has been basically just as pivotal in collecting the cast and everything. A lot of them are people I've worked with in like the horror side of the industry from this Turbo Cerberus TV show that I do. And I'll throw their trailers in there and like in between skits, just because, you know, I think they're badass indie films and I want people to see what's coming out too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of fell into me reaching out to them about voiceover roles and collected some people that way that are super passionate artists who have been doing things like this their whole life, or they're just incredible artists who've been grinding underground like Johnny for 25 years.
Right.
So it's been really cool, man, just meeting all these different people from different walks of life, whether it be music or acting. And we have some scare actors too, which is pretty cool.
Hey, I'm a haunter too.
What's that?
I'm a haunter too.
Those are Craig's people.
Every October.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I have a huge respect for that. It's funny, I can't go because unless I was acting as one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Because being from the perspective actually messes with me, and my fight or flight kicks in.
Right.
Fair.
Totally understand that. What are you doing, Craig?
All
right.
There's Craig's hillbilly cannibal. Do not refer to him as a zombie hillbilly. Don't call him anything else. He's a hillbilly
You'll
cannibal.
see me this year too.
Not a zombie.
Not a zombie. Not a zombie.
Right. Yeah. So James was very pivotal, and then Johnny, obviously. But after that, I started talking to Shannon Held, Kevin Caliber. Like, I'll probably try to talk about a bunch of them, but there's like 50 cast members at this point between the METL-ERTH film, which is a like 3-hour epic, and then we have the television show, which is going to be launched a month prior to the film, and that's called Metal Quest. So we will be bringing certain characters from the show into the movie, like cameos and stuff, and a little bit of the story bleeds into it as well. So it'll be pretty cool. But yeah, just to give you a rundown too, METL-ERTH is like a futuristic sci-fi rated R brutal adventure about a cybernetic bug war between, well, cybernetic bugs and cybernetic small animals. Really nothing bigger than a fox at this point has become sentient in this world.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was actually a little curious as to where, if you would like to expand on that, or if you can expand.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of angle of the story would you want me to expand on?
Well, it's all right. So if it's a futuristic fantasy world in which there have sentience has been applied to both bugs and animals, is it our world? Is it a completely different world? Like what?
Right. So this takes place like millions and millions of years after humans have gone away,
right,
after
so
they died off.
Okay. Same planet.
Same planet. It just so happened that bugs I'm really into like biology and theoretical physics. So I love getting down to like the brass tacks of atoms. So for me in stories, I have to like justify it genetically and like scientifically for it to make sense most of the time. So I brought a lot of that into it, and I've been writing these stories my whole life. I have like sketches of these cybernetic animals from when I was a kid, which is kind of crazy. I dug them out because I was trying to see like where this all originated.
Okay.
Because I melded basically that story that I've developing my whole life, and then this short film. This was originally going to be a short film about bugs in a puddle fighting for a candy bar. Nice, simple, but I wanted to make it brutal as fuck because, you know, bugs are sad.
I want to see that. I want to see that. Just saying.
Yeah, I think I'm still gonna make that, you know, upon the release, just to kind of show what the original vision was.
I think
okay.
that would be. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Like you could do a one-shot comic book out of that.
Right. Oh, true.
That would be I mean, very, very. I mean, like literally the whole exposition being the fighting up until the very end over what the goal was.
Right. Right. And absolutely. Well, and yeah, and then that still exists in the timeline. It's just the original story that started the whole war. And the chocolate that was being fought over is like sealed underneath a massive bionically enhanced tree castle. And it's like surrounded by this like carapace of honey that's kept it imprisoned for hundreds, millions of years and everything. So there's like this, I don't want to give too much away about the bad guy, but he's bunkered down in this huge tree castle. There's quite a few tree castles, but not quite as ridiculously, absurdly huge as his, and impenetrable. So this war has been waging for ages. The society is very much brought up on war.
All right.
One of the side stories that we have in the main part of the series is about a lock-key kid like we were in the 90s. That's basically stuck at home because the bugs have taken over the city, and his mother works at the hospital as a nurse, and she has to keep him, secure in the house. So he's stuck at home watching these like rogue TV networks, kind of like MTV, that he hacks the TV to get. They're all these swamp channels that he's not supposed to be watching. So it's been fun to like develop the culture behind the civilizations.
That's wild.
Right on.
It is. I told you it was wild.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There is
in the best way, but
right.
Oh my God, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, so that part, we're gonna kind of work in. I try to tell people it's like a cross between like Platoon, Full Metal Jacket, Lord of the Rings, and The Office. Because we're gonna have cutaways like that, where we're interviewing troops from the battlefield.
Okay.
So we'll hear about how these, brutal commanders ruin people's lives, and really kind of delve into the characters a little bit more that way.
I love it.
We have a mantis named the Slicer, and he's being played by this guy named Marcus Slaughter, who has one of the most beautifully deep voices I've ever heard in my life.
That's a great name for a guy playing a character called the Slicer.
Right? Yeah. Like just the Slicer. Yeah, his nickname, I guess, on the streets is the Angel of Slaughter, because his last name's Slaughter and it fit beautifully. But really excited about that. I'm working on his animated character release. So for each cast member, they get the still shot, and then we do an animated character release, just so we can see the character in action.
Right.
So that's been fun.
Oh, yeah.
3 hours though. You described a 3-hour epic, right?
Yes, sir.
The question is like, well, or what I'm wondering is, did you want it to be that, or did it become that? Like, disregarding the where the story was based from, but the idea of actually doing like a feature-length thing.
Yes.
Was it always like, I want this to be 3 hours, or was it like it just kept developing?
Well, initially, I knew that I wanted almost a 3-hour epic, because I knew that I wanted to develop the characters as richly as Lord of the Rings. And it's clearly, the title is such a parody of Lord of the Rings already, being METL-ERTH.
Right.
With Middle-earth. It's so obvious. I feel like it would have been dumb not to take that opportunity to really make it an epic film.
Yeah.
Was there ever a thought of going straight satire with it?
There was. I think the issue with me is that that's not what I want to see. I really like delving into the complexity of characters and more serious parts of it, just to work with the rhythm of the film and like have the viewer go through an actual emotional experience. So that way we can make you laugh. We can scare the shit out of you. Like, some of these characters really are terrifying. And some are just cool as shit. Like Ozzy Capri, we just cast him the other day as this banana warrior. It's like futuristic banana warrior. And he's like hilariously offensive looking.
There's no way you can't literally drop the phrase banana warrior.
What's that?
You can't drop the phrase banana warrior and just move on like it wasn't a fucking weird thing to say.
I mean, what's funny about that is when I was casting, a bunch of people, like I'd send them characters, and I'd always throw the banana guy in there, one or two. Nobody would comment about them, or they'd be like, "Oh, that's crazy. Like, I like this one better." Nobody had the balls to be the banana, and oddly, immediately when I
that's
threw
not
it
a
to
fucking tagline.
right? Oh, and he knew his name immediately, which is Bonzo Binano, which is fantastic. Right. So we've developed his character a little bit more. I don't want to give too much of that away either because it's super
No, I don't. I'm not trying to get you to expand in a way that'll give away story. It's just
no. I mean, to be honest, I'm not like a person that would get upset even if a cast member dropped something about their character's storyline.
Right.
Like I thought it was hilarious when Tom Holland like dropped the thing about Spider-Man.
Oh, that was great.
You're right. I wouldn't care.
I feel like it was orchestrated. It's a random side thing. I feel like it was orchestrated though, like it was intentional.
It might have been.
Saying it definitely was. I'm just saying that it generated so much buzz. Like Tom Holland can't keep his mouth shut about anything.
Right.
Like I'm guessing his publicist was like, "Hey, drop this shit, and in the future, everybody's gonna watch every interview."
Absolutely, yeah.
That is what's happened. Like any interview, and there's Tom Holland did it again. Except he doesn't. It's never like when he drops anything about shit. It's not huge. It's something small that people make a big deal of.
Right, and they're like, "Oops."
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh no, I wasn't supposed to say that I had web shooters in this one." It's cool. It's cool. We guessed, but
right.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I have some secrets about the film that I'm straight up not telling the cast until the movie's out either. Like when I want them to see it in the theater.
No, that's literally like if you really don't want something getting out, that's how you'd have to do it. Because I mean, people talk. If you're excited about something, and especially as it's a weird way to phrase it, but I think it's the best way to put it is incestuous and self-involved as this, like, I don't want to call this particular scene. That's not the right way to put it, but this.
You just mean the film industry as a whole?
Yeah, this appeals to a certain group of people. Like it really does. There are definite, like there's a type that goes along with this type that enjoys this type of movie that would be behind it.
Absolutely.
There's also a type that would love to voice act in it.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Literally, it's not like you can't. The only way you could keep a secret if it was something you wanted to stay secret was if you kept it to yourself.
Right. Oh, I've learned that through life many a time, sir. That's for sure. So that's why I've made sure to keep some of the bigger stuff. That plus, I want to see people's genuine reactions in the theater, even the actors when certain things happen. You know, I feel like that's fun for them and me.
Oh yeah, I guess you have some people that are doing voices. They're just doing voices based off of sheets, or are they doing voices based off other people's readings? Like if you.
What do you mean, like for how I'm doing the script?
If you have somebody who is, let's say Craig. Let's say Craig is doing a voice acting read over. Is he doing it against somebody else's voiceover, or is he doing it against the script?
It depends on the scene, actually. A lot of the pre-written scenes, like of action, have like descriptions of the battle going on between their words, obviously. But I know as I edit it together and I play with that more, it's going to evolve. And to bring him up again, but Johnny, for example, comes up with things off the cuff immediately, like I do. So we work really well. I know scenes are going to, evolve as I make them. So, which I love, man. Improv acting is like one of my favorite things in the world. I was really into it in junior high and high school. And then
it's a learned skill too. Like there's very few people that can just fucking do it. It's not free.
Right. Oh, it's a muscle, 100%. That's why I loved Robin Williams so much, that he claimed he knew he wasn't a good actor, but he's a great improv actor.
Yeah, he
changes the world.
It's been an entire show talking about that.
Right, no joke.
Literally.
For real.
I don't even know where to go with it from that. That dude.
I was about to say, don't get me started on Robin Williams.
Right, it's like, how do you can't mess with the genie, dude.
Well, you're right about the improv side. But like his stand-ups, even his old stand-ups, you go back through the fucking what was the HBO specials he used to do with Billy Crystal? Comic Relief. When he did 1, 2, and 3, right? You look at his bits, and yeah, there may have been direction he was pointed in, but the rest of it was just. Oh, sorry, this would be in the '80s too for any of our younger viewers. Sorry, they're like '84, give or take.
Right.
I think '83 may have been the first, but the whole like Robin Williams in particular, like legitimately, he would. That you're right. You're 100% correct. Like his whole thing was like free flow fucking thought.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, also like you said, it's a muscle. He worked at it constantly.
Yeah, it really is, and it feels wonderful after a while too. Like it's a little scary at first, you know, especially when you're working with different people. You kind of like feel out the dynamics, and that's another thing, man. The dynamics of this cast is amazing. Like they're all funny. They've all got like a crass side. They don't take anything too seriously. We don't have any divas, for the most part, you know, other than me. I'm kidding. No, but so we've got 4 producers. Oh, no, 5 producers. So we got Johnny, Kevin Caliber is a executive producer, as well as my first assistant director. He's been incredibly pivotal as well. Like he's taught me a lot about kind of how the business works as well. And he immediately was on board with the concept. Him and Ashley, his soon-to-be wife, they're Ashley Undercuffler. I did a couple trailers for him. Like I threw them into our Turbo Cerberus TV just to give them some exposure for a movie called 16 Bits, which is phenomenal. That's free on Tubi TV. That's when I really got to know like Kevin's chops and what he's capable of. And then I started looking more into his work. But definitely very talented up and coming guy. And then we got Shannon Held. She's been incredible too. She's making some light up signs with LEDs behind them that say METL-ERTH. She's very crafty. She's got incredible ideas. And she's been also pivotal as well in helping me launch the Indiegogo and planning all that out. Because we're going to have a very unique campaign, I think. It'll be refreshing for people to see.
Mm.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we got David Perry as well. He's been supportive of the Turbo Cerberus stuff since day one. So I immediately hit him up first. And yeah, he's been incredibly wonderful since the beginning. Just about everything. Turbo Cerberus has like this mental health awareness aspect to it.
Good name.
Got like, what's that?
It's a good name. It's a really good, like Turbo Cerberus is a good name.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
Like even just disregarding anything that has to do, just the name itself works out pretty fucking well. Turbo Cerberus is a good name.
Word. Appreciate that. Yeah, it rolls off the tongue well, I think.
It does. That is like lends itself to logoing, I would think, pretty easily.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as James Carnes knows as well, he's Cerberus Productions. Trying to think of the proper name. I don't want to misquote him. It's like Cerberus Productions Inc. or LTD. I can't remember. But when we met each other, we realized that we both had Cerberus in the name, and we thought that was kind of ironic, you know. And it, like when we broke it down in the history, like we basically came up with it around the same time.
You know what's funny is I was assuming you were Final Fantasy fans.
Oh, I mean, I am. Final Fantasy 7 is amazing.
I'm replaying 8 right now.
Are you? 8's phenomenal as well.
I finished 7 again just recently, and after I was done with that, I was like, well, shit, now I have to do 8. And I was thinking about 9, and then I remembered how I felt. By the way, this has nothing to do with a fucking thing for anybody watching. If you want to skip it, that's the way to go here because
Called it.
Real stupid.
Called it.
Right.
So, Final Fantasy 9, fucking, I liked it when it came out, right? Like when it came out, I thought it was a great game, and then when I look back on it after I finished it, I was like, it wasn't as memorable. Like 7 and 8 were memorable. 9. The villain, I guess the stakes were lower, possibly. The villain wasn't as horrible. Like you had Sephiroth and Ida leading up to part 9, and I don't even remember that asshole's name. Like it isn't like it didn't like 10 was great because it was the first thing that came out on the PS2 and it looked amazing. It was like
right.
Right? And even that, to me, when you like, if you the Titus version of 10, or like the original version when it came out, if you try to put it against Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 8, it doesn't really stand up to the feeling into those games.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. 10's gorgeous. I mean, they revamped the entire system, and I mean, God, I could talk about video games for five hours straight, but
that's why I told people to skip, because I knew this. Yeah, sorry.
Right. I know. I have to limit my time now though, because I feel so guilty. You know, being an adult doing video games. So 2 hours in, I'm like cutting it. I go get shit done because I just can't justify it past that.
Dude,
no, that's fair.
You know, I got a Switch, right? A Nintendo Switch. Prior to that, the only game I'd played in over a decade, or the only video game system, was actually the Super NES Mini.
Oh.
Right?
Oh,
like,
wow.
I got that thing, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to replay Earthbound. And I replayed Earthbound. I was like, well, shit, now I got to get something where I can play other shit.
Right.
So I ended up with the Switch, and I have been getting the re-releases of the Final Fantasies. But the thing is, before I ever did that, I got the compendium of the Genesis. They had a 50 title Genesis release that's like an emulator where you can go in and you're like in this room from the 90s. And you can play any fucking game, right?
Yeah, I remember.
So to me, I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking amazing. Let's do this. And I started playing those. And then I was like, I wonder if there's anything new that I would enjoy. The next thing you know, I'm playing Little Nightmares, and that fucking game is incredible.
Yeah.
And I do not feel bad about a second of it, man. I am fucking.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. When there is something really good, I will dedicate more than 2 hours to it. But I'll try to break it up at least, you know, unless I got the Sunday off. And
I actually miss work. Like I'm a like all I do is currently I'm working with a guy. I'm doing a children's book for him. I'm illustrating his shit for him, and that's great. It's fun. I enjoy it. But there's been many days where I'm like, I can do that tomorrow, and I just sit and play fucking video games. And it's been so long since I cared about video games enough to do that.
Right.
Like there is, I'm. This is once again has nothing to do with any conversation forthcoming. Again, if anybody has come across this, skip ahead. You don't give a shit about this. It's cool. But I feel like there's a renaissance coming in video games. There was a weird time period recently where like the last first person anything that I played that I gave a shit about was Fallout 3.
Oh, good game.
That was a fucking wonderful game. And the thing is, though, is I played it in third person because I don't want to play a first person shooter.
Right. I played it in third person as well.
I don't like, and that's the other thing. Like for me, if I invite somebody over to play, like the whole everything has to have like an online gaming mode, and that's cool. There's a whole generation of kids that grew up playing that way. They have friends that they have never met, but they are friends. They're real friends.
Yeah, lifelong friends do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the coolest thing in the world. But if I want to play a video game with somebody, I'll invite them over and give them a controller.
Right. Yeah, I enjoy the in-person thing more. I raised my daughter on video games. She's my OG video game buddy. And she's 23 now, but she's got her big collection and everything, and I'm very proud of that. She's damn good at playing.
I'm waiting for her to be old enough.
What's that?
I've got a surprise. We don't want to call her anything else. She was a surprise.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's 5 years old. I cannot wait till she's old enough to play video games with me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's right there.
Oh, she's going to leave me behind, too. So it's going to be shit. She's like, this is boring. And I'm going to be like, you're right.
Yeah, you know what game my buddy's daughter plays is, I think she's the same age. It's Donut County. Remove the little hole around and things fall in. That's like a great beginner game.
Oh, yeah.
She does the PBS games, like the PBS tablet games is what she does.
Oh, cool, yeah. I didn't even know they had that.
Oh, yeah, like she runs mazes with Daniel Tiger, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. He teaches you how not to be angry.
Man, PBS, you just made me think of Sesame Street, man, and Jim Henson, who was a massive influence in my life. I
would imagine everybody here.
Yeah, it's obviously losing him was so devastating early on, and it stuck with me forever, which is a big reason I brought in the puppets into the Turbo Servers show.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like a weird, interesting indulgence in my own psyche as well. I have like a bit of a garden of people up here, and it was very cool to transfer those personalities into actual physical beings, whether they were the psychos I was playing or the puppets themselves, and developing those a little bit further. It was also like a muscle, which I ended up transferring to doing live shows with the puppets, on some like open mic nights and stuff like that. And I'd lip sync with them, and it was a lot of fun. It got me outside of my box and back on the stage, which I haven't done for years.
Yeah,
yeah,
I understand that. I recently started doing that myself. So, been
which
doing
part?
open mic nights.
Oh, cool! Hell yeah.
Getting back out and just performing again, because it's been almost 20 years since I've done that. So,
and what do you play?
Guitar, and I sing.
Oh man,
so
get it.
So, but yeah, that's like I just had to bust out of that shell again.
You got it, man. You got to shake off the rust. A couple of my performances were not the best, but again, I mean, some of the stuff I was doing was new too. That's the other thing, man. When you're practicing in front of a mirror.
Oh, cut out.
Oh, am I there?
Oh,
you're good now.
We're good.
Yep.
Yeah, there you
go. Okay. Yeah, let me know if it's a problem.
Yeah, there it is. That's got it.
You're good. It happens all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm claiming possibly my connection then.
Where I can check mine, but yeah, let me know if it happens again.
No, you're good.
It's actually been pretty good most of the time. It's only when you start to go off on something that's a direct answer to a question that it fades out.
The most important part.
It's only when it's something we specifically asked.
I see. Great. Yeah. So basically, like when I took it to that next level, because I worked with puppets my whole life, but when I was actually practicing and planning out those live shows as opposed to the scenes for the show, it completely made me rethink about what Jim Henson went through to create that live experience. Because there's so much foresight and so much practice. Like 3 hours in, I felt like a total psychopath because I'm like playing with these two puppets, lining it up with a thing, and I'm just like literally compartmentalizing my brain into my hands. And after you do it for quite a while, you're like, who am I? What am I doing? Like, you just look at yourself in the mirror like you're just crazy. But I mean, it's all for a real reason to express something.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw it out there. I am down with puppets.
Right on. Hell yeah, dude.
I like puppets.
Let's have Muppets. Let me rephrase. Well, no, I mean, to be fair, Jim was the Henson Company was very adamant that they were not puppets; they were Muppets. They were something different entirely.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I would say,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
No, please go ahead.
I was gonna say it's funny. I originally called mine Muppets because I associate them as Muppets, but I can't legally call them that.
No, but that's the thing. It's a trademark thing, but it's something I would guess we all grew up on, right? I mean, like I remember watching the Muppet Show with my mom and dad when I was a little kid. Like, I mean, watching that shit every night at prime time, and after that, it was bedtime.
Right? Oh my God! And then Muppet Babies. What a weird fever dream that was.
Right? Yeah, but man, you've seen the meme, right? Y'all have seen the meme. Like, you want to know why we disassociate?
Yes, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true though to an extent, but also when you go back and watch that show, if you can find it anywhere, but you have to look for it too. By the way, it's not just popping up. I'm gonna guess because they know they did real damage to an entire generation.
It's owned by Disney now.
Oh no, that's the whole thing. Like,
I'm part of that generation. I was a child when watching that shit.
Well, that's the whole thing, dude. It was every Saturday morning, man. I look forward to that shit coming on. And
I mean, you're always like, where are they going to go this week? Where are they going to go?
Oh, I watch that shit every day on Nick Jr., bro.
They were always running into the Phantom of the Opera.
What's up with that? Will Nanny notice this time? Why do her socks look like that?
Oh my God. Well, okay, wait, real quick. I want to make sure we talked about everyone. Not everyone in the cast. I can't do all that right now, but the other person, Len Hulson has been helping with art, and he's voicing a hummingbird that we have not announced yet. Very cool looking character, though. I just want to make sure I don't forget anybody in that, in the producer side of things. Again, all the actors have been amazing to work with. They kind of vary in how in depth they want to be in creating their character too. Like some are just like, oh man, I got all these ideas, and some are like, I want it to be your vision. What do you want? So that's been kind of cool, man, to exercise both sides to that.
That actually leads into a question. When you are okay, so let's take for Craig, for example, is helping you out, I believe, with some editing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we can talk about that more. I'm sorry, we were going to talk about that right from the start, but
well, it's just so Craig's helping with editing, and then it became a thing where it's, you know what, we've also got a spot where you can voice. Was the character there, or were you like, hey, wait a second, that's something we can also add, or was it? I mean, do you need voices?
No, so I have about 20 something characters that I'm voicing myself, just in passing through the film. I've been doing voices for a long time, so it's kind of first nature for me to do that. And I had kind of just reserved them for me to play with within the story as we go, so I can work them in as catalysts or, things to progress the story. But when it comes to having like a new cast member like Craig, he could choose one that I've already designed that I'm planning to use. Or if he had an idea and he was like, you know what, man, I actually have always wanted to be a squirrel. And I'd be like, oh, cool, man. Well,
I do have an idea.
Yeah, and be like,
oh, okay.
let's work with some ideas, and then I'll throw them into a couple generators. We'll modify them. I'm usually ending up photoshopping quite a bit of it, and then adding like weapons and gear and stuff like that in between.
Random side note, because it just made me think about it. Sorry, it's going to keep fucking happening.
Yeah.
So if you didn't know Craig and all you were doing was looking at him, right? Craig, you were actually not part of this conversation, which is fucking weird, but you're not.
All right.
I can't see you. You can't see him.
You were going to make a character, animal or insect based for him. Just Craig. What would you have gone with? Bearing in mind, this is not an insulting question. I've already got a thought, and that's the reason why I brought it up.
I do have an idea, but I don't want don't be offended because I think it's adorable. First of all,
yeah. So that's about mine. Like I was afraid it was going to be rude.
When you just turned your head, I immediately saw a beaver.
A what? A beaver?
Yes.
I was thinking fucking beaver.
Were you really?
Yes, fucking beaver. Angry, grumpy fucking beaver.
Totally. And it's funny, we actually don't have a beaver yet. We threw around the idea, but someone else settled on something else, so we're gonna have to do that.
Oh,
I want to throw out there though, they are industrious creatures.
They're what?
They are. They're industrious.
Industrious. This is true. I mean, only if he wants to play the character. You said you have an idea too, so
I kind of.
We can talk about that later. I don't want to give anything away.
It was either that or like really pissed off groundhog. It was gonna be an angry something though.
They're related, so it works. A beaver is essentially a groundhog with a flat tail, so it works.
Right? No, they're like groundhog deluxe.
Yeah,
man. That's the other thing, man. All these producers on it, and as well as quite a few of the actors, are writers on this as well. Because our dynamics working together are that good.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's been fun. And I found something unique that I was able to do with this was give people the rights to their characters.
Nice.
I wanted them, after the film comes out, and let alone falling in love with your character initially. But I wanted people to know that once they're invested in the character and the film comes out, they could do any merch they want. They could do a prequel or sequel for their character. And really, if they wanted to run with it, if it took off more than another character, like Ozzy could do a crap load with Bonzo, I'm sure. So I'd buy stickers.
Or just a confusing metal t-shirt where the lyrics, like where the whatever it is it's not legible, but there's a lot of
like Death Clock kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like seriously, like it's a pile of sticks that if you really look at it and someone explains, not that that's the case, but like it just says "angry groundhog," right?
Oh my god!
It's done where it just looks like a jumble of sticks, and after that, just blood splatter and a fucking screeching groundhog.
That's pretty great.
I would wear that shirt without knowing what the fuck it was from.
Right? It wouldn't matter really. Although I guess with the pile of sticks, the beaver makes more sense for that one.
Oh yeah, pile of sticks. Back to that. See, there you go.
That's awesome. See, now we just designed one of Craig's character's first T-shirts. That's like part of this fun. Like,
you could release a dude. I would buy jammies.
Right?
Like, I would fucking rock that shit. I would do it for the conversation starter.
It's going to be a problem for me, honestly, because we're a bunch of nerds that want to make cool collectibles. Like James too, man. He makes those figures. You know, he's a collector. He paints his Warhammer, and I think I said he's a producer on this as well and writer. It was a lot of fun working in Colonel Cluck Carnage with him because, you know, he's got Killer Cox on the way.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be super cool, man, if we could do, you know, it's just too easy. It's already there. So, yeah, and you can look up we did his animated one. I ended up using like this audio file that he sent to me about using Post-it notes for the actual production, but it like worked out as the chicken saying it like in the field, being like, yeah, man, you gotta keep a lot of Post-it notes and shit, man. You guys like it just, you know, with the helicopter and shit behind him, it just worked. But heck yeah, and I do have some older friends that are part of the production as well, like my buddy Dan Sondheim, my buddy Travis Miller. He's helped me a lot with Turbo Cerberus as well. Actually went out to his farm to film some of the bigger scenes on the broadcast too, and it was pretty cool. He did a great job. He actually did a good bit of camera work when I was like playing the character as well. So that was cool.
Right on.
I do find oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, I do find with some of the more extreme characters, like one of them is called Mickey Muppets. He looks like a disturbing Mickey. And
public domain. Just
I love that. I love that shit.
Yeah, he's straight up parody, you know. But he's terrifying and manic. And when I put that mask on, my heart just beats so fast. I have to take breaks here and there because I do jump into character pretty quick. And just his energy in general is so much that I really do have to be careful.
Oh, for sure.
It's fun as shit. But
we're going to take a quick break here, refill some fluids, visit the Johns, whatever you guys do.
Yeah.
But a quick word from our sponsors.
The claw. When it gets out, nothing gets in its way.
Nothing.
The claw fights back. Wheel-splitting reaction traction.
Challenge the claw, and it gets fierce.
Reaction traction gives the claw the power to beat the toughest roadblocks.
It can take on anything.
Even the unexpected is no match for the claw. Battery's not included.
Hey, it goes where it wants.
Madness in their eyes, hollow flicks, mental tricks, and wrestling lore. These dimension geeks leave you wanting more. From Facebook to YouTube, they're breaking the mold. Geeky conversations that never get old. Dimension geek, they're never ones to win. Covering it all from horror to wrestling. Mental health chats, geek facts galore. These geeks are the goats. What you waiting for? What you waiting for? Toys and comics, games and freaks. Every episode's a geeky peek. Dark humor, bright minds, they take the lead. In the Dimension Den, where all geeks succeed. From Facebook to YouTube, they light up. Toys and comics, games and freaks. Every episode's a geeky peek. Dark humor, bright minds, they take the lead. In the Documented Den, where all geeks succeed. From Facebook to YouTube, they light up the screen. Their nerdy, twisted charm, a true winning team. Documented Geek, and they're the ones to win. Covering it all from horror to wrestling. Mental health chats, geek facts galore. These geeks are the goats, what you waiting for? So tune in now, it's a geek show to win. With the Documented Geeks in a den. In a den.
Sit down.
All right. Hey, sit down.
Sit down.
Wait, does your shirt say muffin?
It does. It absolutely does. If you want to take a better look at that, everybody should get this shirt.
That is fantastic.
Oh my god, that's great.
Because
wow,
sometimes, like the thing is, everybody wants a bingo, everybody wants a bluey, but sometimes you get a muffin.
Dude, I love it. That's so out of the box. It's fantastic.
I love this. I love the fact that you got it because, like, I have worn this shirt and pointed it out to people. I've been like,
Yeah.
They just stare at me like,
man. Yeah, it's like when I bring up the show Mr. Pickles to some people and they've never heard of it.
Fucking great show. Wonderful soundtrack.
I gotta be in the zone for it because it is like very visceral. Like the visuals are very disturbing sometimes, obviously.
All right, this is one of those moments. So you brought it up, which means there's going to be a tangent. It's not my fault. This one isn't my fault. It's just my grandpa, that poor bastard. I have never felt worse for any character in any series in my life than I did for the grandpa and Mr. Pickles.
He is truly the victim of the whole thing.
Like all the way down, like literally, he said, Jesus Christ, even his wife, Mr. Pickles was fucking his wife.
Right? It ruins his life every single day. It's pretty phenomenal.
Oh, did you see the final episodes?
No, I'm not cut. I haven't finished it, so don't ruin it.
It's a satisfying ending.
Okay, cool. Right.
It is a satisfying ending. It doesn't work out for anybody.
Word. as it shouldn't in that show.
No, God, no, it shouldn't. The only one that gets away is Timmy. Timmy's okay.
Good. I was just going to say, he's probably all right. Good. And Mr. Pickles probably reigns supreme, of course.
Okay, all right.
Anyway.
Please watch it. You can do it now. Go find it. Watch it.
Okay, I will prioritize. Yeah, I'm going to roll off the cast real quick, just so everybody knows that they were mentioned, or the ones that I can. So we got me.
Uh-oh.
Undercoupler.
Wait, cut out.
Oh.
You're good, I think.
I just start over.
Yeah, you're good.
Yep.
Okay.
Start over real quick. Yeah.
Okay, so we got me, Kevin Caliber, Ashley Undercuffler, Johnny Logan Harley, Aaron Markham, amazing man, very passionate, very talented.
Yeah.
Steve Reaper Living Good, who's been really fun to work with. Very cool dude.
Yeah, he seems like he's a cool dude.
Yeah. James Carnes, of course, Travis Miller, Andrew Bayard from Grinners. Really psyched about working with him, and he's incredibly talented. And Grinners is actually the first movie that I have a credit on. I'm associate producer on that, and I made the puppet for him. He has like this. Well, it was a puppet, and then they turned it into a gun, a puppet gun, basically. I can't wait to see the full version of it, but it's a possum, and he plays a character called Kitty, and his character Kitty has this possum gun, and he's like a redneck psychopath. And I believe the whole thing behind that story is that him and Lady Possum Mask, they hunt influencers that are online. So it's actually like a pretty cool story. And Joe Bob Briggs is in it.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're doing some good stuff. And I actually voiced both of the trailers. If you want to check them out, there's a teaser trailer that I did as Vincent Price, and then there's a actual like trailer where
Back to what you were saying earlier about doing voices.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's so much fun. I just like playing with my vocal cords as a singer. Like it was, happened anyway. So
right.
Yeah. So anyway, to move on, so I can get through everyone. I said Shannon Held, Sydney, author, amazing human being, great book that she has out. Everything I learned, everything I needed to learn.
Go-go dancing.
Is that the one? Yeah, it was in Go-Go. Really well written. Holy crap. It's beautifully written, flows really well. I highly recommend picking it up. Then David Perry, he has quite a few projects coming up and that he's done. You should check out Coppin von Wolfenstein. He just Coppin Joe's cousin, the wrestler.
Okay.
Really cool dude, pretty damn funny as well. Dan Sondheim, Jared Hussey from Grinners is going to be in the film as well. I have not yet announced his character and his wife's, but they are going to be making an appearance as well. He's blessing us with his presence. He's a cool dude, man. He's been helpful in both this film and in Turbo Cerberus. He's taught me a lot about, I guess, just the industry in general. He's very, very savvy about the whole thing, and he's a visionary in his own right. He's started Refinery Films. I think he has 2 films from that now, and then a couple short films that he did prior, but then they're gearing up to do a lot more this year. So definitely check them out. I said Ozzy Capri, of course. We haven't announced his character yet, but John Potash is fantastic as well. He was in A Hard Place with Kevin Caliber and Ashley Undercuffler. They're all part of that crew that was in A Craving as well. Jason Horton is the director of both of those, and he's really, really broken outside his box this past 2 years. Really made some impressive stuff, so I can't wait to see A Hard Place. It's a big monster battle up in the mountains. So should be super cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good name for that, too.
Right? Yeah, man, they had a brutal shooting, apparently. It was like freezing cold on a farm, and they just powered through. But I can't wait to see the result.
That sounds about right.
And then we got PJ Lemon, Perry Lemon Jr., who was a drummer in a metal band that I was in back in the day called Chainsaw Baby. And our logo was a baby, like a ginger baby with black eyes dragging a chainsaw. That was our logo that we had on all the flyers. We were kind of cross between like early System and early Tool. You mashed them together.
That was going to actually the Tool thing.
What's that?
That's so Craig, when he was sending us links to you, actually sent us a couple of links to some of the stuff. I think it's on Spotify.
Oh yeah, word.
Yeah. That's the first thing I sent back was obviously a Tool fan.
Yes, yeah, they were all. I love Tool, but I'm not like a super fan by any means.
You're right.
Definitely was a bigger fan of System. Serge Tankian like changed my life as a vocalist.
Oh, yeah. Well, bear in mind, there's no derogatory meaning in that for me. It's a very clear, which there are many worse influences at the time. It could have been, hey, big Limp Bizkit guy.
Whew, yeah.
It's bear in mind to any Limp Bizkit fans.
I mean, no, yeah, but I'm all over the board with music anyway. Like, I have a soft spot for pop, Sepultura, Soulfly. Like, I'm all over the place. I like Rachmaninoff as well, you know.
Oh.
So as long as it's good music. Then we got Mike Miller. We're about to announce him. Brian Anderson, Len Holson. I said Magnus. What's his real name? I can't think of it. I have him written down as Magnus Fardum because that's his name on Facebook.
Wonderful name.
And I'm on the spot.
To get a real name.
I'm on the spot, and he's gonna be pissed. I can't remember his damn name. Anyway, we'll move on. But Goblin O'Reilly,
really cool dude in the horror scene. He's gonna be Purple Pam, Katie McKinley, my buddy Elijah Old, who's in New Zealand, is going to be doing some of the art. Really incredible, like realism art. I remember we were working at like a Walmart equivalent at the time. He went on break for 20 minutes and came back with a hyper realistic kitten on the back of his vest, like that he had done with like a Sharpie. And I was like, bro, where did that just come from? He's like, oh, I did it while I was eating my sandwich. And I was like, you're insane. Like, extremely talented person. And then we got Mary Kate as well. I believe she's in Clown Motel. We're about to announce her character as well. She's in a couple other things coming up as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Smiley is a scare actor. He's going to be in the Metal Quest as well as a shopkeeper, and we'll be doing that character announcement soon. Then we got Marcus Slaughter, Warbucks, the rapper. He goes by Buxter Morgan on Facebook if you want to check him out. We also have, in that vein, we have DZK as well. He's an underground rapper for quite a while. Good buddy of mine. And then I'm not sure about that person yet if they're going to do it. But then we got my cousin Luke Gnarly. He's doing a cameo as a character, but he's done the entire soundtrack, and it's phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Bizarrely enough, he made the album a year ago on his own and didn't release it because he was like, it was just weird. It was a standalone album that was like, it's called it's not the right name. It's like a Future Planet or something. Like it literally was. Oh, Industrial Planet is the name of the album.
Okay.
And I was like, how the fuck did you make the entire soundtrack for the film a year prior to it existing? Like, it's literally like futuristic animal sounds mixed with like really awesome other sounds and techno and all sorts of, like, some of it you could use literally to go into a trance, with like the big war drums and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Thanks for letting me rant, by the way.
No,
you're good.
Then we have his wife, Jane Gnarly. She's fantastic. Her voice is so good. She's got that badass New York accent. And then we got Nate Thomas Jones, Cody Millward. He's from us, from New Zealand as well. A good buddy of mine from there. Dustin Hausner, Turkey Man 2, over at Troma. That was a fun one too because we got to customize an actual turkey for him. Right, and then we got Kelly Kirby, who's a OG friend of mine from back in the day, but she blew up on TikTok for singing at Walmart, closing parody songs. So she's had her breakout moment already. And then we've got Adam Garland is going to be working on this with us as well. Him and his wife are going to be, I believe, doing a cameo for voice in it. But he's also working on developing a tabletop game. And we're going to work, I believe, with James Carnes as well, who's working on his tabletop game too. So we'll be nerding out like a mofo.
I put some serious effort into that stuff.
What's that?
James, when we were talking to him, he was in his, I guess, workshop, for lack of a better way to put it.
Oh yeah.
And just all the background, the miniatures, and everything that he had done for the movie. It was like, clearly the dude has an interest.
Oh yeah, he's impressive, man. His drive is incredible. And it's super cool because he's not one of those people that, like, you know, it's not like he gets bored with one. It's not like just done on to the next one. Like, he literally like grows outward, you know, like he just keeps expanding and gives that same passion to everything. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And then my buddy Paul Droke's going to be in it. And then there's a couple other pending secrets that I can't quite divulge yet, of people. So we're going to make those announcements when that, you know, is solidified. But
so you mentioned Henson earlier.
Yes.
What are some of your other influences that made you want to do this?
Awesome question. Yeah, and I've taken even more time to reflect on that because there's clearly so many references in my own mind to it that I'm drawing from. Like as we go, I'll be like, oh shit, that actually reminds me of that, and I don't want to go too much like that. You know, I want to go outside that box. And but like for instance, Ratchet and Clank. Holy crap, man! What an amazing franchise, and they really took the time to tell the story.
Yeah,
I mean, if you cut all those scenes together, you'd have probably a 3-hour epic of their story. Like it's so good. Actually just made me want to watch all that now. It's probably on YouTube. But then we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. When it comes to like anthropomorphic conscious animals, my friggin' favorite. Like you can't mess with the turtles.
Another Jim Henson connection there too.
Right? Yeah, heck yeah, dude. And then we got Street Sharks.
Oh fuck yes!
Fucking awesome.
Yeah,
they're so cheesy and so much fun.
What'd you say?
Right? We got Biker Mice from Mars.
Love Biker Mice.
That was a big influence for my character. I play a character called Blue Bike Glitchin', and he's a cybernetic robotic mouse, but he's an elder. So there's different tiers of generals, and the elders are like the oldest that have been around since the beginning, and they have more humanoid bodies. So yeah, he's like basically one of the youngest elders in a way. Like he's very like green in his approach, and he's kind of flighty and itchy. So he has multiple personalities that can take over if they're triggered. So that's been fun to develop his like past in the culture, like being infamous for certain things. It's been pretty cool. But yeah, so we got the what did I say? Biker Mice from Mars, and I've been making the list too. I don't know if I can look on here.
Oh, what happened?
It'll catch up. Give it a moment.
Oh. Hello.
Hello. They hear him.
Can you hear me?
There it is.
Okay, cool.
Throwing it to piss off the Wi-Fi gods.
Where did I leave off?
Biker Mice from Mars was the last thing I remember.
Yeah, and then you were starting to say something else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I had mentioned it before, but Bucky O'Hare.
Oh yeah, there we go. Bucky O'Hare.
Huge for me. Just it's literally animals with cybernetics added. Like that's probably the closest I can think of.
Yeah.
Other than Ratchet and Clank. But yeah, I mean, we all pull from so many different aspects of our childhood and the things we're raised on, whether it's comics, cartoons, Hanna-Barbera. Holy crap. Huge part of my life.
Yeah. Flintstones, Jetsons, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, gosh.
Scooby-Doo.
Now, one interesting one that's a pretty rare influence for me. There's this author. His name is Dougal Dixon, and he wrote this series of books. What's the name?
It's just a fun name.
I know. Oh, trust me, this is gonna get weirder. So,
fantastic.
One of the books that I had that like I read all the time was one. I think it's like Life After Man or something, and it's like if I'd have to look that back up, damn it. But look up Dougal Dixon. He's got a bunch of books. One's about dinosaurs if they had never died, and how their evolution would have changed over the centuries and become humanoid and stuff. Really cool.
They made a movie about that.
Did they?
Yeah, no, it wasn't really about that. It was just the last. Who's the guy that did Secret of Nim?
Oh,
no, but
he did a.
Fucking hell. He was the only Disney competitor for a while, for fuck's sake. Don Bluth. Okay. The last Don Bluth movie, Return of the Dinosaurs, John Goodman did one of the fucking. This has nothing to do with what you were saying. It was an attempt at a joke that fell apart.
That's all good.
Way to go.
Great show though. Dinosaurs is great. So he made an even odder book. I really need to get a hold of it just for like posterity's sake. It's called Man After Man. And I'm aware the title is ridiculous, but it's humanoids after human beings died out. So it takes like all the breeds of animals and evolves them into humanoids slowly. And it's super expensive, man, because it was limited prints, over the time. Right. And I think I've seen it go for up to $1,000 for a copy of that.
I'm sure it sold like hotcakes, given the misleading title.
Right.
Red Dwarf stuff.
I mean, there's like a beetle warrior on the front, so really,
that's way different than what I was going to say.
Yes, no, I'm aware of how it sounds, but no, fantastic book. That man's imagination triggered something in me as a child that has forever stuck with me. To think about the world after we leave has always been fun to me.
Hell yeah.
Because I think obviously we're a nuisance. We're a nuisance, man, in quite a lot of ways. So to imagine,
that funny you're interested in Chernobyl.
What was that about?
I was guessing you'd be interested in Chernobyl then, just like the exclusion zone and what happened after everybody left it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess it is. That's another random side thing.
Well,
right? But it is. I get what you're saying with the idea of what would things be like without us?
Right.
How would things go? It is an interesting idea. It's a very. I would imagine most people, if given a couple of minutes to think about it, would be curious and would want to pursue that thought.
Absolutely. Yeah,
there's a whole show that history put together about it.
Yeah. Like after what was the there was what was
Life After People?
Life After People, is that what it was called?
Life After People.
Cool. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, they were talking.
It was a really good show.
Well, there was the one thing that came about from that is like in a straight up battle, the only thing undefeated on our planet is nature.
Yeah.
Like there is no argument against it after that. Like,
nature always wins.
And that was an interesting thing for me to think about when it comes to animals, like their perspective of what humans were like, because I've made it so that they do have a full digital copy of human history. They all know about it. They all reference it. And at first,
so the characters in your story, like they are aware of the fact that people existed.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they know the history of humans. And initially I was thinking, obviously they'd hate humans and what they did. But the more I thought about the characters and how savage bugs and animals are, they would have thought we were amazing. Like the savagery of some of the horrible people on Earth would be inspiring to a praying mantis. Per se, so
that's true.
That made me start to rethink. What's that?
You put it that way, for sure. Like,
yeah, that's when it resonated with me, and I was like, wow, so I'm gonna have to work that into pop culture of this world where that has been glorified, because they live in a society of war anyway, so being savage is celebrated. But we have the other side of that too, which is the swamp. The rogue channels that you're not supposed to watch are like happy. It's about like they're basically like the swamp
good shit that happened. Like they're watching Mr. Belvedere, whereas the other guys are watching CNN.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more that hokey. I've like developed metal bluegrass bands and stuff like that are going to be different animals that'll be shown up. Mock MTV kind of parody thing. Yeah, it's been fun to create that footage, but it's helped me.
I bet, dude. That sounds awesome.
Out of curiosity,
I'll send you a teaser,
please.
Right.
Random side question, possibly more of a thought experiment, possibly in regards to a world you're describing.
Yeah.
How would pigeons, or at least the descendants of pigeons, feel?
Man. That's a good question.
Well, no, because like pigeons, like where they huddle around cities because we domesticated them and then we just fucking shat on them.
That's true.
That's true. So it's interesting you say that because one of our main bird characters is David Perry plays, and his name's Tembo Locke. But it's a bird, like it looks almost more like a complex sparrow, but he wears a turtle shell around him as his protection. And he's a really weird anomaly. He's extremely lucky. He's very fast, but for some reason he doesn't get hit. And because he's not heavily armored. But like it's just something about his being that makes him very lucky. And it's cool you said that though, because it'd be interesting that he veered away from the tech because of that history or something like that. I love playing with those ideas, like going into the psyche of the character.
Well, like I said, thought experiment. It's
I dig it, man.
Nothing solid about it. It's just in that world, the animals that were, I guess, derived from, take even the idea of a dog. Like dogs don't exist without people, but arguably people wouldn't exist without dogs either. Like there was a whole symbiotic thing at one point, right? Like there was a moment where the wolves that couldn't make it with the pack decided to follow the people who were leaving food.
Right.
So there's
collective breeding
for that. They were also protecting said people.
Right.
Because that was the food source. So there's a whole symbiotic thing. So what happens in a world where dogs have had millions of years to continue existing? There's also bearing in mind that this is a tangent, but sorry.
Don't be.
Dogs, they pick up generational traits within like 2 breeding cycles.
Correct. Yeah.
So they would have outpaced almost anything else around them.
Well, I will say one thing, and there is one character that has been blurred out that we're not revealing until the movie comes out.
Right.
In that vein. We're going to have a couple Yorkies that are in the swamp. From some smaller.
Because that's fucking wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, because we can do smaller breeds. I was working a few in.
Well, they're still dogs.
Right. But my whole concept, too, is that most of the dogs are going to be pretty peaceful, except for the Yorkies. Because, they're always trying to be brutal. They always think they're
incidentally, the Chihuahuas, which are just feared by everything.
I do need to do a Chihuahua, brother. I didn't think
Chihuahuas are fucking nuts. All of them. All the way. There's not the nicest Chihuahua on earth is still more insane than any wolf you will ever drop it next to.
You are totally correct.
They're angry about their heads. They're angry about their size. They just want to kill, and they can't because they're cute.
Right. Yeah, and we haven't hindered ourselves on the larger animals, but that's way further in the story. So METL-ERTH, the first film, is going to be, this moment in time to explain this story having to do with the big battle for the castle and the history of sentience. What's that?
No, I'm just the idea behind that. The idea of a war kicking off over a chocolate bar.
Right.
That's literally like
yes.
That's exactly what would happen.
I love it. I love that shit.
Yeah, it's always about something simple, man, and then it always grows into something bigger for no reason. Not no reason, but
right.
As is things with life.
So when are you hoping to have this out by?
We're aiming for Christmas.
Very good.
Christmas is this year. I'm aiming high. I think that's more than feasible to have the film done prior to that, and then be ready for launch by then. But I think I'll know a little bit better in the next 3 months. I've just really started crushing out animations for the film itself and the TV series, so it's great to get all the footage together. But until I see how fast my editing is coming together, Craig, you're going to be playing such a huge role in that, man. Thank you again for being open to this.
No issue at all. I'm excited.
Dude, Nah, me too. I've been the only editor on this, since the start, let alone with Turbo Cerberus. I love it. I never thought I would. It's not something I sought out initially.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
I started playing around with videos and I just ended up enjoying it.
Right? Yeah, and it's like those you get into it for hours because you just love making those meticulous details work. And,
yeah.
Heck yeah. So yeah, I'm really psyched about working with you, man, and seeing what your chops got and throwing ideas around too. I think he's going to be one of the people I throw ideas around with the most too, because oh shoot, hold on, battery warning. There we go. My bag. We good?
Good.
Okay, sorry, my phone beeped out. I'm at 20%.
Got plenty of time.
Yeah, sorry, what was I saying?
You were talking about Craig's, the fact that you're going to be spending a lot of time talking to him about what you guys are doing.
Yes. So he's
bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah, so he's going to hear probably like some preliminary things too that won't end up in the movie.
Right.
Which I think is always fun because like you can tell those stories later and be like, man, you know what that was gonna be originally. So yeah, I think the biggest part of this project is camaraderie and energy, like of our team.
Yeah.
Because like, man, when we do a cast posting and like the support that they get is so beautiful, man. People are sharing it. They're, commenting on it. We're getting a lot of interaction because these characters, you immediately implant them in your brain when you see them. And it's even cooler when you actually get to see them animated and you're like, holy shit, man, this is real. Like, this thing's alive.
Right.
Right.
That's when it becomes a totally like different being, and it's like it exists finally. It's there.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, we had done some 3D prints of a couple characters. We did James Carnes, Captain Carnage, which is a badass figure, and it came out beautifully. But the leg broke off. You had to figure out what's going to work with the materials and things like that. And, but again, like they're so gorgeous. We're obviously pursuing action figures and that nature aside from the game. We're gonna do a video game as well. That's a big goal of mine. I want to go 16-bit SNES style, side scroller beat 'em up, like Turtles.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
So that's in the cards too, man. We're gonna do it up.
No de-arming the bomb stage though. We're not. That's just fucking terrible. That's a terrible. No.
What'd you say?
Fucking de-arming the bomb stage. If there is a 16-bit game in which suddenly
no, fuck that
arrow flying through a fucking maze that kills you every time you touch a wall.
I hate that fucking level. No, I'm talking Turtles in Time, bro.
Good. All right, there we go.
Perfect. Yeah, good one.
Okay.
Or
it's a beatable game. Fuck yes, it is.
Hyperstone was the shit too.
Yeah.
Sega.
Again, there are people that started playing that game when it came out that are still trying to beat it now.
Right. Damn, I got a couple of those for sure.
You got METL-ERTH, the film, and the TV series was, I can't remember what the title was. You said it.
Oh, you're good. Yes, Metal Quest.
Metal Quest. That's what it was. I was wanting to say Dynasty, but I was like, that's not right. Dynasty's not right.
No, you're good. That's cool. It worked really well too because the spelling is all metal, so it's METL-ERTH, and then we did Quest QEST, so it just all is metal spelling, and it looks nice symmetrically.
If you do it in the right pile of sticks sort of way, it doesn't matter.
What was that, bud?
If you do it in the right pile of sticks kind of way, it doesn't matter.
Right.
True. What does it say? I don't know. There's an angry beaver under it.
Shooting for Christmas release. Yeah, corresponding video game that you're hoping to put out soon after, I would assume.
Yeah, that's going to be
into
after the film's
2026.
release. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, 26 is going to be a big year for us because that'll be, the actual physical version of the film.
Right.
We're actually toying with a really cool idea. I don't want to tell it yet, but for the release of the film, where it wouldn't, we would have the DVD available, but there's going to be an alternate route to watch the film that isn't commonly done. That I'm saying.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I would very much imagine that you'll be back on.
Word.
To discuss.
We will definitely bring it back on.
Right. There's so much to talk about, and it's still in its not infancy. It's like it's in its teenage stage. It's about to.
Right.
So I'm really psyched.
You're in what I would call the proof of life stage.
Fair.
That's actually I call it. But Craig and I were talking about it's what I refer to as the proof of concept, which is not real. Actually, you're past that.
Yes. Yeah, totally. I have the so the teaser trailer is going to come out with the Indiegogo campaign.
Right.
That will launch in about a month, but we're going to do the pre-launch a couple of weeks or a week before that. Which is a new thing for Indiegogo, the pre-launch. I just learned about that. But it's just kind of to get people, aware that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So we're going to dabble with that. And I will say one thing to get really excited about is in our Indiegogo, we're going to be offering the chance to have a poster with a custom character made for you or someone you love. So
that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if your son was just like, hey, man, I want to be a tomato.
Tomato. I always wanted to be an angry tomato.
Yeah, we could custom make you an angry tomato, and we'd give you the poster to put up on his wall and stuff. So.
Oh, yeah. That's bad. Well,
yeah.
I think I speak for everybody here when I say that we're really looking forward to this.
Oh, man, thank you so much.
Like, fucking cybernetic animals that have survived for millions of years without human interaction just going to war over a fucking candy bar.
It's actually a really rich base for a story. You could do
fucking love
much from just that.
You can build so far from that.
Yeah, there's so much. In fact, I did have to hinder myself at first because I've written stories this large before. Weirdly enough, I worked at a bookstore, and in the cafe one day I started writing this story, and it's a futuristic. It's a future Bible, written by the perspective of the sun, and it actually tells about the Earth after everything has been wiped away and evolution started over completely. So I actually, being obsessed with the futuristic stuff, I went further than the Dougal-Dixon thing, got rid of everything, and started evolution from scratch. So that's like a whole other project for another year.
For sure, man. Well, we look forward to that one too. I promise.
Thanks, brother. Right on.
But we will definitely bring you back once the movie comes out. If not before that.
Cool, man. Yeah, I would love that. This was fun.
We'll have to do a secondary feature.
Yeah, for sure. Like leading up to the premiere, absolutely.
Cool. That'd be great, man. I'd be honored.
That would be a hell of a lot of fun. I think we'd probably even pull in a cast member or two, maybe.
Right. We should probably get Johnny. We should probably get Johnny.
Yeah, we'll have to bring Johnny back.
Right.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. This was a fantastic conversation, man. Looney Dingo, Metal Quest, METL-ERTH. We got a video game. You got a TV series. You got a 3-hour epic film adventure.
You got it.
Thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate it
so much, man. Y'all be well.
You too, brother.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Sometimes people take for granted about the best things ever planted, but they should be enchanted, should appreciate their trees.
Trees, colonies, Arbor Day Foundation spreads the word across the nation about trees.
Trees are terrific.
milkman is magic. He makes dreams come true.
I only ask for cash.
But when it's time to pay the bill,
Maybe you shouldn't get things from the milkman anymore.
the milkman will want you. Tales from the dark side.
You can't escape. Tales from the Dark Side, midnight Saturday on TV6.